How's today, everyone? Valerie with KUAM. We're here at the Westin Hotel down in Tumon, where the Guam Fire Department is going through a simulated fire rescue exercise. And so what's happening is they're celebrating Fire Prevention Week, and this is part of their festivities here with the Guam Fire Department. Shortly, you're going to see a couple of the rescue and emergency vehicles come down. We've got a rappel unit that's coming down as well, and I think there's another rescue that's happening back there. A lot of action that's going to happen and take place in the next few minutes, so stay tuned with us here on, are we on Facebook? We're on Facebook. I'm here with Ken. Jason is up there. I don't know if you're following us on Instagram, because he's also posting live Instagram and Instagram snap or Insta story snaps. And so again, they've made the call. It's an actual call that went through dispatch as part of the exercise. And what's going to happen is the units are going to come down from their station, from their respective stations, and begin this exercise. And I kind of hear some, do you hear that? Sirens in the distance. And so up there, if you can see where my hand is pointing, up there, we've got some of the fire department officials who are kind of waiting for everything to take place. Also on standby, we've got the folks, the good folks of Westin, who are here, who are also actively participating in this, who are, making sure that everyone is organized. We've got some employees who are already evacuating the building. From what I understand, they're also evacuating guests. There's some people that are leaving actually right now. And those sirens are starting to get louder and louder and more clear. And we're going to start to see them. Some of them I think are going to stop up there. Some of them are going to pull down this way. And just a heads up, tonight, the Guam Fire Department will also be having a static display from 5 to 8 p.m. Chief Joey Sinicolas sent us a media message, and that media message is for everyone to come down to the Chamorro Village, where they're going to have a static display of some rescue vehicles, some fire department personnel. Bring the kids down 5 to 8 at the Chamorro Village.
See if we can get you closer to the action. If you're just joining us, we are here live at the Westin Hotel for a live joint fire drill with the Guam Fire Department. Remember, if you're tuning in, this is just a drill. Fire department is staying sharp, practicing important emergency situations should something arise.
Good.
are just joining us, do not be alarmed. This is just a test, a drill.
Fire department's going to the 9th floor.
Scenarios going on, right? Drill scenarios going on right now, or is it just this one?
The engine is the suppression unit. They're there to hook up the water supply that's going to attack. Rescue is going to come in and do the search and rescue. So basically, I have two operations, but they coexist together as one.
Is this the point of ingress or whatever?
Yes. Or hooked up to supply the sprinkler system. So
that's the first group.
First group.
Okay.
This one's going to do the supply line for the attack. This is the entrance for rescue and attack.
Remember, if you're joining us, do not be alarmed. We are at the Westin Hotel, but this is just a drill. Guam Fire Department practicing, honing their skills. The firefighters working team, to be sure in the case of an emergency that they are very efficient and effective in their operations.
The commander needs to know what every unit is doing simultaneously.
Tell them what floor? 11?
Okay, floor.
They're going to the 11th.
Danny's gonna be done.
Go ahead and click. You're clearing the floors.
And of course, the Westin staff is also working in conjunction with
They're checking all the
GFD
rooms.
to make sure that they clear all the floors and check all the
So our friends at
rooms.
the Westin here, these are is the security detail for Westin? Or?
Yes, this is our evacuation plan. Employees are assigned to certain floors to clear, so they're right now in the process of clearing the floors. These are the first responders. They're done with that. All right. Andrew, can you stand by? You guys proceed. Just leave the door open.
Jason, can you give us a little about what's going on?
Okay, yeah. So as you probably saw when the exercise first started, the Guam Fire Department's emergency response vehicles, we saw 2 fire trucks, the life support unit, which is the combination ambulance, and that contains like a lot of the gear that the firefighters use when they respond to injuries. Because this is a mock hotel fire, there may be smoke inhalation, there may be extreme chaos, as some of the chiefs have told us already. And the one thing that they really have to do is concentrate is one team, one heartbeat. If you saw the way, and I'm sure you did if you're watching us right now on Facebook Live, the way the firefighters all moved in, here comes like another, they're all one unit consisting of between 4 and 6 people, but they all move as one. They got geared up in basically less than 15 seconds. And
Service elevator.
can you tell us how much gear are the firemen carrying when they finally put everything on?
75 pounds on top of their
75 pounds on top of their own body weight, and that's not even taking into consideration the humidity on Guam.
Yeah.
So
And today the elevators work, right? Like in any kind of situation, you don't know what will happen. That's
Okay.
not an option, right?
Now, I would assume that one of the big things that you train and you have to worry about is chaos and confusion, not only on the part of the guests and of the staff, but also on the firefighters themselves. How do you actually get them ready to handle such extreme situations?
training and practice. We have to train for all types of scenarios in the fire department. Practice makes perfect. Will be the best wording we could use. That's why we train for these types of scenarios.
How many years in the field do the firemen who are responding today? Most of them look like very young. They're very fit. How How experienced are these firemen?
Some of them got 15, 20 years, some maybe have 4 to 5 years. Our last cycle, I believe, was 4 years ago that graduated.
Okay.
And we have one up and coming. So we got some young ones in.
So these are men who have seen a variety of situations already.
Yes.
Very well equipped.
Yes.
I got to tell you, the response is really amazing. It's, and I think above all, it seems like, the response, everybody's very, very professional. It seems like, everybody in the team, they all know their job, everybody knows their role, and, they just get to work.
Right now, the first ones on scene is the employees. As you can see that what they're doing. The employees technically cannot use the elevator because the elevator will go into recall. So it should always go down to the first floor. The firefighters have the option to use the firefighter's key to access it. We normally go to the floor below to start our attack.
Okay.
So everybody has their responsibility on it.
Okay, so again, if you're just firing up our Facebook Live, either watching us live or on demand, this is a drill by the incredibly heroic members of the Guam Fire Department right now. At approximately 1:30, the management here at the Westin placed a predetermined call to GFD's dispatch, and they said that there is a fire situation. The mock response that they're responding to right now is that there was a fire on the 10th floor, and I believe, sir, that they were also responding to something on the 7th floor as well, right?
I believe just the 10th.
Oh, just the 10th floor, okay. And there were 3 units that came out here. There's also a lot of members of the Westin, handling, as you said, guest evacuations. If you're wondering, the guests staying at the Westin right now, and people that may be dining here, they were all briefed well in advance, so everybody knows that there's a drill going on. The guests don't necessarily have to evacuate or participate in the exercise, but they have been kept abreast of what's going on.
Yes.
Yeah. How would you evaluate so far, like how the exercise has gone?
So far, it's been pretty smooth. There's no panic. Everybody is moving in an orderly fashion. As far as the employees are using the stairwells in accordance, I haven't gone down to evaluate everything, but the maids are going down accordingly. They're going floor by floor and evacuating and doing what their emergency response guidelines are.
Well, from your vantage point, like when you evaluate these young firemen and how they're responding to it, what do you look for? What do you assess?
Well, as a firefighter, is moving in timely manner, moving with proper equipment. As you notice, one team went in with the emergency gear to pry open doors. The other team came in with their supply oxygen, because the room filled with smoke, so you need to have supply oxygen. Right now, the ambulance crew is coming in for the injured person.
Just 10 line here, man. 12, man.
Okay, so you're seeing a team of firemen right now, as well as the medics. So the firemen are going in first to handle the situation.
So in this situation, like in the call, the first group has responded to a fire on the 10th floor. Are they like the scouting type of group to find out whether or not that information is reliable, or if there is in fact a fire at the 10th floor, or maybe it's spread to the 9th or 8th floor?
The initial crew is supposed to, first of all, it's always life over property. They go in there and look for any victims, and then control the fire and wait for backup. You want to control the fire as fast as possible. You have a sprinkler system that's supposed to just slow it down, but the firefighters are initially to knock down the fire. But first and foremost is life over property. So you want to get the victims out and make sure wherever the fire is at, there is no victim in there first.
Okay. I think the chief was mentioning earlier that Westin has its own kind of pump water supply, or
yes. All major hotels has a fire suppression system that consists of a fire pump and a sprinkler system. Floor below us.
If you're just joining us, we are here at the Westin Hotel. We are covering a live fire drill with GFD, Guam Fire Department, honing their skills here with a mock fire situation here at the Westin Hotel. So far, we've had a bunch of first responders as well as firemen and EMTs who have gone up to the 9th floor. I believe it's the 9th floor, to respond to a fire call from the Westin, which they received at 1:30. We remind you that this is only a drill, only a test.
If this was like a military exercise, they would say a team would go in and secure it. You guys trying to secure it on the site down here? Make sure you get people up first. People first.
So how do we get there with this? Can we go in there and go down?
Okay, now what you're seeing right now is this is actually one of the logistical challenges from some of the medics here who are responding right now. Is they're saying, how do they actually take their backboard and the gurney, and how do they get it down this rather challenging 2 flights of stairs right there? And so what they have to do is, GFD has told us, the captains and the chiefs have already told us that this is why you train, because you are going to run into these type of situations. And remember, when you're in a hotel, you're dealing with very enclosed spaces. You're maybe dealing with a lot of people running and not a whole lot of room. And so what these gentlemen are doing right now is they're actually trying to work out how they can get all of their gear safely, so that if there are any people that would be injured, because remember, this is a drill, how they can actually get their equipment done.
And certainly every second counts in a fire situation, Jace, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the teams they rolled up here in force, and they geared up, they got all their stuff, and they were already in the elevator in less than a minute. I mean, that was amazing to see.
I think that group is going downstairs.
I think we're...
Okay, let's actually go talk to the security.
Sure, let's do that.
Go ahead.
How often do you guys at the hotel, how often do you train to make sure that you can handle emergency situations?
We do 2 full-scale drills every year.
Okay.
And then we have 2 departmental on top of that. So we have 4 altogether every year for the last probably about 15 years we've been doing this. This is the 3rd time actually we have the fire department. 5 years ago we did it. A lot of new people, so some done it before, like Chief here. But
You want to relocate now? Then you probably can see action from the outside.
yeah, from the lobby.
Okay,
Let's do
let's
that.
Thank you,
More
sir.
action, guys. We're going out.
So this is the main entrance. They worked as a team to get up there, begin their attack from the 4th floor, walk up to the 10th floor where it happened. Now you can see the action, how they're going to traverse down with the injured person.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so there is so again, there isn't actually an injured person, but that is part of the drill. And as you can see out there in the distance, the fire trucks have already, they've hooked up to their system and they've pressurized the lines. And how many gallons can this put out per minute? Or 1,000? Okay, so, yeah, so you do not want to get in front of this stream of water, my friend.
Yeah, I can't see it. Gonna have to
Go down the path.
Okay, so yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the lobby. Thank you again.
If you are just joining us, remember this is just a drill. We are here at the Westin for a fire drill exercise being hosted by the Guam Fire Department.
And it's not only the emergency responders that are hustling, we're getting quite the exercise too, bringing this to you guys.
Also keep in mind, fast just got even faster. Experience online speeds up to 100 megabits per second, available on Docomo's Pacific's One Bundle plan.
Okay, and what we are going to
there we go.
direct your attention to, is up there you can see there's the stripes of one of the the firefighters responding. Okay, Valerie Maige has been here at the ground level at the lobby for
Hey guys, so we've been hanging out. We've been waiting for the folks up there. They're coming, I believe it's from the 10th floor, and it's a rappel, a simulated, well, it's not simulated because they're actually going to rappel from this floor. And I believe that the patient in question is actually somebody with the fire department, so not to worry. They're all
somebody's
professionals.
playing the role of the
Yes, they're all professionals. And so, and then I believe there's someone on the floor below that just to kind of ensure that the transition is really smooth.
Oh.
Okay, so what is going on right now?
And we've got the ambulance that just pulled up.
Remember, here's the Westin. This is technically the lobby, but there's 4 floors below it.
And a few other fire rescue vehicles that are down here as well.
Lower an injured person out of the building.
So we're gonna see this happening. We're gonna see someone lowered out of the building.
Wow.
This should be quite interesting. My heart's beating quite fast.
You gotta have a lot of trust in your fellow firefighter if you
Absolutely,
let
absolutely.
them rappel you down a building. If that's what,
Absolutely.
in fact, is happening right now.
All right, so what you're looking at right now is firefighters are on the 10th floor. Because remember, here at the Westin, this is the lobby, but there's 4 floors below it. So that's a 10th floor, and firefighters are getting ready to extract an injured person played by a GFD firefighter, and they're going to rappel down the side of the building.
You guys like the video? Let us know in the comments.
Once, a very long time ago, in my rookie reporter years, I got to do a rappel with the Guam Police Department during their police week. That was quite interesting. Never again will I do it. I trusted the guys who were up there. They were SWAT officers, very kind. Trusted them to let me come off of their old headquarters in Tiedzin. So that's nothing like this. That's 2 floors. We're talking about 10 floors.
Jace, would you let them rappel you down for a drill?
I honestly trust these guys, you know, like with, I mean, just seeing the way that they actually entered the building. Again, you know, like as one of the chiefs was telling us, chaos and confusion are your 2 biggest enemies right here. Of course, you know, you're dealing with fire, possible gas lines, compressed spaces, people very, very scared. The members that were responding, Val, I'm sure you would agree from this vantage point and everything like that, they were at the utmost professional.
Absolutely professional. And if you can look over there, Ken, we've got, I believe it's the triage that's being set up, or the command center towards the back over there.
Oh, cool.
I think that would be their incident command center or their triage, but we can clarify that shortly. I'm just kind of letting them set up not to get in their way.
Is this a, do they do this drill twice a year? Or?
The hotel said they do full-scale exercises twice a year so that they can remain, you know. Okay. I believe that they are going to take the firefighter you said, Val. It's a GFD firefighter who's playing the role of an injured person.
Yes,
It looks like
I was
they're going
there when they picked him.
Okay. So they're going to extract, and remember, you know, even though it doesn't look like it's only like 3 or 4 floors above, we're standing at the lobby level right now. The Westin is actually 4 levels below right now, so technically that is the 10th floor. So you're 10 stories up. And off there in the distance, you can see there are several firefighters who are setting up, as Val was saying, the command post. And Val, what seems to be very apparent is there's so many moving parts to this. There's so many people that came out to respond, and
Absolutely.
Everybody knows they've got a job, but I mean, that's got to be a hard job to manage.
Right, a hard job to manage, and not to mention, again, this is simulated. This is an exercise, so the environment is perfect right now. In the event of a real emergency, I can't imagine, what the pressure that must go on with the job that they have to do. So again, this is the perfect environment. It's a drill. It's simulated, so everything in the environment is good.
And as we were just pointing out, that triage unit over there, that is a makeshift mobile hospital that will respond to whatever kind of trauma that the injured person. I believe that they're bringing somebody out right now. And you know, the level of difficulty of doing these kind of like maneuvers is off the charts. I mean, you really have to be made of some really stern stuff if you want to work this job. I think if you've ever been rappelling, you know, I mean, you were saying, Val, you know, there are a couple companies on Guam that allow that kind of thing. You can rappel down the side of a cliff. If you've got any military experience, you know, like at UOG, they rappel down the side of a big wooden tower. Look at what you're dealing with right there. You've got steel and concrete and metal and glass.
And I'm just gonna kind of let it.
Let the story tell itself.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So what you're seeing is the first fireman is out on the ledge, and they are going to.
If you are just tuning in, do not be alarmed. This is still a drill at the Westin Hotel where the Guam Fire Department is honing and practicing their skills in the case of an actual response to a fire at a hotel.
Well, this is part of their fire prevention week, part of the festivities, and you know, they invited us, the media, to be here with them, and you know, from the start, like Jason was saying, they've been complete professionals. We've got a rappel, we've got a Guam Fire Department person who is going to play as the victim. They're going to try to lower him from the 10th floor of the Westin Hotel in Tumon.
And even though this is a staged exercise, there's still a lot of peril and danger involved.
The firefighter is ready and he's in position. There's a
As you
firefighter
see,
on the floor below.
a lot of slow, meticulous movement here.
He's going to rappel from the 10th to the 9th floor. They're possibly going to go floor by floor. Very delicate operation. Highly trained firefighters really taking their time.
And if I'm not mistaken, the goal is to bring someone through the. Are they bringing
I thought they were.
a victim through the?
I believe so. Someone's supposed to bring the injured. From what I understood.
You know, some of the chiefs were telling us earlier, because we were asking them, we said, you know, how exactly does the Guam Fire Department respond to high-rise fire situations? And they were actually telling us that one of the reasons that they are such sticklers for the inspections that they conduct on a regular basis is that every hotel on Guam that is 75 feet or higher, so basically any floor that's 8 stories or greater, has its own piping and its own fire sprinkler system. And that is why GFD, they hook directly into that. So if they ever need to go fight a fire, they just bring their own gear, hook directly up into the hotel's water system, and they can attack the fire directly.
A little bit of clarification. From what I understand, the guy on the floor below where the firefighters are and where this gentleman, where this firefighter is now, is where the victim is. And so that's how we're going to do this.
Okay.
Yes. Just to clear that up.
So they were attacking a fire from the floor that it was on the 10th floor, and they're coming down to help an injured
They're coming
person.
to help
Okay.
an injured person on this floor here where we've got the firefighter hanging.
I guess that just kind of proves the point of how these situations can be so confusing, and there's so much, you know,
Absolutely.
so much information that, you know, you've got to make sure is correct.
To process, yep.
And if you're just joining us, remember this is only a drill. This is not a live scenario. That's pretty scary. Pretty challenging.
Yeah, I will. Bye. See you later. Bye. How to do a stand-up right now. Yeah. I don't know. Lots of
Once again, if you are just joining us, we are here at the Westin Hotel where the Guam Fire Department is hosting a fire drill as part of Fire Prevention Week. This drill includes interior fire attack, evacuation, and triage, as well as rappelling, which is what you see right here, and incident command. And once again, this is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Fast just got even faster. Experience online speeds of up to 100 megabytes. Available on Docomo Pacific's One Bundle plan. Docomo Pacific, better together.
And don't forget, Fire Chief Joey Nicholas went ahead and sent us a message, and he's inviting the public to come out tonight to the Chamorro Village, where the Guam Fire Department will have some static displays, bring the kids out there to come see the ambulance and the fire trucks. Again, they're celebrating Fire Prevention Week with a week-long set of activities, this is being one of them, tonight being another. So come out to the Chamorro Village tonight from 5 to 8.
Oh, we got some action.
Here we go.
Zoom in for you guys. What is going on here?
All right, so they've got the victim. And they came from the 10th floor onto the 9th floor where the victim is.
Now, are they going to pull him down, or
Not quite sure how this works. We'll see.
are they going back up? The victim is being played by, or is actually another firefighter.
He is another firefighter. I saw them.
Volunteered for this.
Yes.
They jokingly said, "Whoa, you would volunteer?" And he said, "Oh,
We were
these
there.
are my
Actually,
guys." Yeah, we were right there when he said,
We were there.
no hesitation. He said, "But this is my squad. These are my guys. I trust them with my life."
Absolutely. And like Jason was saying earlier, you know, professionalism all the way from the time that they came in. You know, you have to have a lot of trust. These guys train hard. The reason why we do these exercises. And then we've got the ambulance that's here to set up in case it's part of the drill. Here we go, more action.
Here, oops. Sorry, guys. There you go.
There you go.
Certainly, even though that this is a drill, everyone taking it very seriously.
Is your heart pounding right now? Mine is.
Yeah, I mean, my palms are sweaty.
Wow. All right.
Oh.
A little.
I know we are like 1, 2, 3. Like this is the 10th floor, so we're like 6 floors up actually. It's still a long way down, you know.
And they are coming down. It seems like they're coming down, Ken.
Oh, it's a tense moment, guys. Remember, this is just a drill. If you're just tuning in, this is an actual fire drill here at the Westin Hotel, part of Fire Prevention Week, GFD, testing some of their brightest firefighters here in a hotel fire scenario with a victim, obviously not a real victim, but a fellow firefighter who's playing the role of victim here.
And you can hear them
repelling him down.
communicating with each other, yelling some commands back and forth.
Definitely, communication very important in this situation where your life is literally dangling by a rope. Slowly make their way down.
Okay, guys. I was actually talking to some of the fire chiefs over there, and I was asking them, you know, what makes this such obviously a complicated and delicate operation. And they were actually saying that they were the firefighters who were going there. Once they anchor the rappelling rope, they actually figured out that those bars on the balcony are aluminum and not steel. So that presented some really interesting challenges.
Wow.
Because they don't want that thing, you know. I mean, they put their full weight on that, and that thing could bend.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they found another solution.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, you know, quite fittingly, what they're doing is they're bringing this stage injured person down in what's known as the fireman's carry.
Yeah. He doesn't look like he's really holding, you know what I'm saying? He's essentially dead weight, kind of.
Guys, when they reach the bottom floor, you guys got to throw them smiley faces and hearts, because this is
intense.
Not every man can do this job. This is definitely a lot of training and bravery involved in putting your life on the line like this. Dangerous.
And remember, every single movement that these men who have responded here are being assessed, evaluated, critiqued by, you know, I'm counting at least right now 25 different evaluators, each of whom is looking for a very specific action to assess and to judge. And if you weren't with us from the very beginning, we were asking Val, Ken and I, like, how much field experience do these firefighters that are responding today have? You know, these are no you know, young bucks. A lot of these guys have between, you know, they said 5 to 11 years of experience in the field already. So these guys have seen a lot of different situations.
And this is specialized training, from what I understand. I know that our Joan Charfris, Jonah Charfris did a feature story a while back with different teams and different groups within the Guam Fire Department that specialize in training, and it's constant training for this. Almost there. Oh my gosh. I can't even. Whew.
I'm going to go closer over there
for
and
it.
see if we can get a nicer shot here. And it looks like they found their momentum here as we reach closer to medics are responding here with the stretcher.
Now, I can't say, but this may be the most dangerous part of this operation, because the rappelling and the firefighters above were lowering, you know, obviously the firemen and the injured person right now. But basically, for like these last like 25 feet, there's nothing they can rappel from. I mean, they're going straight down. So they scaled 4 stories right now of, you know, being able to go on 4 different balconies, but like again, this last 25 feet is there is nothing keeping them from the ground.
There we go, we're pretty close here. If you're viewing at home, show your appreciation, give these guys some hearts and happy faces. For not only the firemen and the emergency responding crew, but also the crew here at the Westin who participated in this exercise, as well as the off-duty firemen who played the victim here. Awesome.
Sorry, I had to.
Yeah, we're gonna give them some claps out here. Just those happy faces and hearts, guys. Still the trail not over. EMT personnel communicating with the firefighter to find out the situation and the appropriate response at this time. Once again, you are joining us here at the Westin Hotel for the GFD fire drill. I believe they do this twice a year. This one in conjunction with Fire Prevention Week. And Val, you were mentioning that there was something going on at Chamorro Village?
Yes, so the Guam Fire Department, Fire Chief Joey St. Nicholas is inviting everyone to come down to the Chamorro Village tonight from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, where they're having a static display that's also at the night market. So, you know, come down, bring your family for some food, take a look at the fire trucks, the ambulances, and maybe just chat with some of the firefighters. You know, Jason and I have been talking the last 30 minutes here about just the bravery that it takes, just the commitment and the courage that it takes for a lot of these guys. Regular training all the time. So we had to give them a little bit of a round of applause here. Our hearts were pounding. It's an exercise, but again, this takes a lot. And to emphasize that it is an exercise, the conditions are perfect. In the event of a real emergency, imagine the pressure that these guys must go through. So.
Yeah, it's imagine if the building had actually, you know, perish the thought, but what if the building was actively on fire when they were conducting that rappelling? Again, 5 stories up. That was no cakewalk. And the fireman who was rappelling and everything, like he's been at this for like at least 15 minutes of intense, you know, holding on his full body weight and supporting somebody else. He's still aiding.
Let's go see what's happening over there.
He's still aiding the EMTs.
Loaded him up into the ambulance for safe transport. Just like a real emergency. You want to come over to the...
yeah, let's see if we can get an interview with the fire chief.
Sure. He's over there. He's all the way over there.
Yeah, no worries. This is the command center, command post.
Command center, this is where everything is happening right now. Trying to sneak in an interview, but they're quite busy. I don't want to get in the way of it.
So even though a victim was successfully transported to an ambulance, the scenario is still playing out. There's still some information that the firefighters need to confirm about the status of the fire and the hotel itself.
Right. And then just like a real emergency, they had guests evacuate. You know, they've had their employees, fantastic employees on standby, redirecting traffic, redirecting people, regrouping people. So, let me see if I can get my treatment.
Sure, sure.
be at the 3rd floor. We're just gonna say a thank you for coming and so forth.
All right, guys. I was able to get Fire Chief Joey Nicholas. Thanks so much for joining us, Chief. So, can you kind of tell us what happened here?
Sure. Well, this is an annual exercise that we like to do with the different hotels here in Tumon to, number one, to exercise our capabilities of responding to emergency incidents within the hotels. And then number two, to also demonstrate our capabilities, which is basically what you see here between firefighting, search and rescue, rappelling, high-angle rescue, EMS, emergency medical services, triage, and treatment and transport. So, as well as exercising our command post and incident command capabilities to handle large-scale incidents like this. So, this is all part of something that we do every year about this time during Fire Prevention Week in October of every year to also celebrate fire safety, fire prevention.
Okay. How do you think the guys did out there? We were, our hearts were pounding out there. We're not used to seeing this. You are. I mean.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. The guys did well. They did excellent overall. You know, we always like to say that we always want to improve. So we're going to go back, do a new after-action report, and see where we can make those tweaks and improve for the next big incident, the next exercise. So I think they did excellent. Everybody showed up, very professional, very proficient, technically and tactically smart in everything that they have to do. So nobody got hurt. That's the most important piece. So you know, at the very least, we took safety into a strong consideration.
And lastly, if you kind of want to plug your event tonight, I know.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Tonight we are also, as a continuance of our Fire Prevention Week activities, we are doing a public outreach, static display demonstration of our capabilities again tonight at the Chamorro Village in Agana. It'll be center court of the huts, the FESPAC huts, what we've come to know as the FESPAC huts. We'll have our fire truck out there, rescue units, different units from all the different fire services in Guam to include Anderson Fire Department, Navy, Federal, Fire and Emergency Services, Airport, our forestry division out of the Department of Agriculture, and ourselves. So we'll be there. We hope everybody can come out, bring the kids, ask questions, get some pamphlets, learn something new, and follow the theme to find your way. Find 2 ways out of every situation.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Chief. I appreciate it. Thanks for sticking with us here on KUAM. We're going to continue to do some live coverage again. You know, we saw the rappel rescue, and that has pretty much wrapped itself up. The victim, the said victim, is in the ambulance, and they're going to go ahead and transport them like this is a real exercise. The way that this was simulated was, you know, the folks here at Westin made the phone call as if it were real, and then we had the fire department come down again as if it were real. We had someone who was playing a victim that was actually a Guam Fire Department firefighter who was rescued with the rappel. And we've got the Incident Command Center, which is set up here. And like, you know, Chief Joey Nicholas said, you know, these guys are professionals. They did excellent overall. And Jason and I were talking about it earlier. If the conditions were not perfect, you know, and this were a real situation, I can't even imagine the pressure that these guys would be going through. But thanks so much for joining us, guys. Hope you guys give them a round of applause. You know, these guys do an excellent job and continue training all the time. Go over to the command center? Wherever you want to go. Okay, we'll close it. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up here. Thanks for joining us again, KUAM, Guam's News Network. I'm Valerie Maige.